Okay, thank you guys for joining us today. Yeah, we want to talk about the outcome of the AFL Integrity Department's investigation into the incident involving Sam Powell-Pepper on Sunday, April the 8th. As we stated yesterday, Sam and the club have accepted the 3-game sanction handed down by the Integrity Department. Sam has accepted responsibility for his actions, that he was intoxicated and behaved in a manner which made a woman feel uncomfortable. And I'll expand a little bit on the timeline of these events in a minute, but I can assure you that we took the woman's complaint very seriously from the moment we were notified. These allegations are very serious. What we're dealing with here is the reputation of two 20-year-old people. Now, I'm a father, I've got 2 kids in their 20s, and I'm acutely aware of how impactful such allegations and these sorts of issues can be on their reputation, employment prospects down the track, and really importantly, the mental health of the people concerned. You know, as a club, we've been involved in a number of incidents over the last few years where we've seen people really seriously affected by the intense scrutiny that goes on around these issues, and it's really important that we understand that. And that's why this investigation for us has become an issue of fairness and natural justice. And I'll get into that a little bit more down the track, but if I can, I'll just take you through the timeline of events as we understood them. On Monday morning, April 9, our General Manager, Chris Davies, was provided the details of the woman concerned and her complaint, and he made immediate contact with her and made available to her support contacts at the AFL, which is standard procedure. We notified the AFL immediately, and they sent their investigators to Adelaide to commence the investigation. On that Tuesday, Chris went to the nightclub to view the CCTV footage of the night. That was really important because at that stage, the media reporting had already taken hold, and it was critical that we got to see it and understood what we were dealing with. The AFL commenced their investigation on the Wednesday. So let me just get back to what we consider to be the most critical aspects of this whole process. Firstly, we don't shy away from the fact that Sam was out, intoxicated, and behaving inappropriately. Not good enough, we don't accept it. But from the moment the first tweet from Channel 7 hit the public, which had words around it such as, the Port Adelaide Football Club has launched an investigation amid claims a player sexually assaulted a young woman in a nightclub on the weekend, we believe that set the tone for the entire investigation. The opening line of the journalist concerned continued the narrative. A group of girlfriends out on Saturday night. It should have been fun, but this 20-year-old says her evening at Mr. Kim's took a sickening turn. Now, the reporting from that moment throughout the 16-day investigation was about sexual assault, groping, sickening turn of events, and we believe, in hindsight, having viewed the evidence, way overplayed the incident. So what that meant was that the investigation was immediately on the back foot, if you like. It was dealing with a public perception that was being created and not controlled. Sam had no opportunity to defend his position. His name was out there. Thankfully, the woman concerned is anonymous, and that's one of the few really good things that's happened out of this. But at no stage was Sam afforded that opportunity. We're dealing with an incident that occurred at 3 a.m. or thereabouts on the dance floor of a nightclub. Very difficult to achieve fairness when an incident's being reported as it was. When we saw the footage, it became crystal clear to us that there was a huge discrepancy in regards to what was being reported and what we could actually see had occurred. That's why it's taken us so long to reach an outcome. As a club, we felt duty-bound to deal with the accusation of sexual assault. And for the reasons that I gave earlier, in that a charge like that can leave a stain on someone's reputation and life forever. You know, I put myself in Sam's situation. 5 years' time, he's out of footy, going for a job interview, and I Google search him as a future employer, and this incident's going to come up. Put yourself in that position. So we come to the finding and the term inappropriate touching. Now, we've accepted the finding. We accept that inappropriate touching is a matter of personal opinion and it's subjective. And I don't know that it's respectful to actually delve into that too greatly, other than to say that the evidence that we have seen shows clearly and distinctly, as does the finding from the AFL, that touching was a long, long way away from sexual assault. And we have been very keen for the finding and the wording of the finding to enable us to make that distinction. It wasn't a matter for us about the number of games. You know, some people have been criticised for accepting the 3-game sanction, and you know, if he didn't do anything wrong, well, we're not saying that. In the end, the number of games was irrelevant. It was drawing the distinction between what happened and the claims of sexual assault. That was the whole issue. Can I also make it clear that Sam's position on this has not changed from day one, even though there has been some reporting to the contrary of that. Sam can't recollect a whole lot of what happened on the night, and he's been clear about that from day one, and he hasn't tried to deny that claim. You know, that's been his position. So, and that hasn't changed. For us, the stakes for both parties were really high. It required us to take all the time that we felt necessary, or the AFL felt necessary, to arrive at their conclusion. They've done that. I think it's important to note that this is a new policy. The respect and responsibility policy is new, and I think it might be the first testing of this. I think we can all learn from it. We will certainly take our feedback to the AFL, and I'm sure they'll have feedback about our approach and a whole range of things, and that's fair and reasonable. And we've arrived at an outcome which we will now accept. But that's how we believe it played out, and I'm happy to take any questions.
How do you describe inappropriate contact? From what you've seen, you've said you've seen the video. What was on?
Well, again, I think it's in the eye of the beholder.
Well, the woman seems to think that it was a very definite inappropriate of a sexual nature.
Well, you know, we don't believe that that's the case, and the findings.
So she's lying, is she?
No, the findings have demonstrated that. I lean on the fact that the issue was not reported to the police either by her or the AFL Integrity Unit, and they're duty bound to do that if they find that a sexual assault had occurred. And based on the video evidence that we've seen, it is a long way.
So, well, tell us what was on the video, because we have asked to see it, and neither you nor the establishment will provide it. What did you see? I think
that would be inappropriate. It's an investigation that...
No, the investigation's concluded.
It has concluded.
What did you see on the video?
It's not our video to show you. It is the nightclub's video, and for us, it's not for me to be...
You're here making a pronouncement that there was nothing to see.
I'm not making that pronouncement.
Video.
The AFL finding has made that pronouncement.
You were saying that there was nothing to see, so tell us what was on it. That would be a very fair and reasonable... The finding
is clear. It's inappropriate touching. To be going further than that is disrespectful.
So you were calling the complainant a liar, presumably?
No.
Keith, can you confirm the AFL's Integrity Unit refused to view that vision?
The AFL Integrity Unit did view the vision. They have 2 investigators that they sent out, and they viewed that, and so that they have a very clear understanding of what that vision looks like.
So, Keith, how are we meant to know what inappropriate behaviour is, or contact in this case, if you won't tell us what? Well,
we'll discuss that privately with Channel 7.
Are you considering taking legal action against any Adelaide media outlets?
Well, we would reserve all of our rights in this case. We think that there is that this has been way overplayed. We believe that Channel 7 Adelaide set the tone for the investigation, and we'll be discussing that with them.
Is it disappointing for you how this whole site has been portrayed on Channel 7?
That's very disappointing. Very disappointing for me, and and I think that as late as yesterday, it continued at the Unley Oval, and I feel as if that has created an environment where it's been very difficult to achieve fairness in this hearing.
Have you spoken to David Koch, because obviously he's your president and he is involved with Channel 7? Is that awkward?
It's not awkward. I have spoken to David, and David's really aware of what we're trying to do.
Are there any other issues involving Sam Powell-Pepper that the club knows about? Is this the first and only issue?
I have no other issues that I'm aware of regarding Sam Powell-Pepper.
How can you be sure, seeing the video, that you're putting your entire faith in your comments today in?
Yes.
Yet you won't explain what you saw. But how do you know, in a crowded nightclub, was it very clear pictures? Was it a well-lit room, for instance?
What I'll say to you is this: we viewed 7 hours of video from every angle, and we're really confident to be sitting here in front of you talking about this issue.
But you're giving the player the benefit of the doubt rather than the complainant?
No. We've been more than fair and balanced in our approach to both the complainant and Sam. What I think is missing here is fairness towards Sam and his position. At no stage has Channel 7 afforded him the respect or opportunity to present anything in regards to a balanced hearing.
The club would have made Sam available.
No, but what we would...
you can't have it both ways.
No, what we can have is the way that all other media dealt with it, which was to reserve judgment until the hearing was complete.
Is David Koch disappointed with Channel 7 Adelaide?
Oh, that's for David to talk about, not me.
So you're saying that the complainant who approached Channel 7 with the complaint, and hours later, Chris Davies sent her an email, and the opening line was, he was appalled by what had happened. Now, he seemed, without having...
Chris Davies said that?
Yes, without making any investigation at all, his immediate reaction was he was appalled by
Well, I don't think that that's true. I'll counter that with...
Make a bet?
Well, I'll counter it with this.
We're going around circles. Can we...
I'll counter...
We're asking you, hang on, I'm defending Channel 7's position here, Keith.
It's okay. I've got no problem.
You have offered nothing that is conclusive in your argument.
Well, what I will be saying to you is that we will be talking about that with Channel 7 behind closed doors. A finding, an independent, well, the AFL Integrity Unit has found that there is no sexual assault charge to be answered for.
Inappropriate contact,
Correct.
which is, I'm giving
In
you,
the-
you're saying we didn't give Sam an opportunity to explain himself. I'm giving you ample opportunity to explain what inappropriate contact
Channel
is.
7 will be given that opportunity in private.
Okay, is Sam a scapegoat?
I think that Sam is a... No, I don't think he's a scapegoat.
Do the AFL want to scout, give him one
No. Sam put himself in a position where bad things can happen, and he needs to learn from that. What I think this is a situation where, in the world that we live in, with the scrutiny that goes on at around AFL and AFL players, these things can be reported aggressively before all the facts are known to us, and I think that is dangerous territory, because it can actually affect the well-being and the reputations of the people concerned. And I think that we would all say that it's taken a long time to get to this point. However, it was a complex hearing. A lot of things, we're talking about nuances here. We're talking about two people involved. So, I'm not overly critical of the time, but that is our world. It does get really intense under the spotlight.
Keith, did the complainant...
The AFL's wording of that statement, are you disappointed with how that was worded?
No, I think that in the end, we've accepted that. And what it has done has provided us with an opportunity to draw the distinction between the incident and the sexual assault narrative, which we think is really important.
Keith, did the complainant, in her dealings with Chris, did she actually make the complaint herself that there was, make an allegation of a sexual nature?
What she did say was, I don't want Sam to get into trouble for this. Can we just make that a warning?
Okay.
Did you advise her to go to the police?
Sorry, hang on, Jared.
Did you advise her to go to the
Certainly,
police?
it was her opportunity to do that.
But did she actually make a complaint? We know what she didn't want Sam to suffer.
You've got the wording. We'll discuss that with Channel 7 behind closed doors.
Keith, did you feel there was a preconceived agenda at AFL House because of what had happened in there last year, that they were going to use Sam Powell-Pepper to set this new...
No, I didn't feel that. What I felt was that this became an issue of complexity that needed to be, because of the narrative that was being driven in the marketplace and the disparity between that and the evidence that was being produced. That became difficult to reconcile, and therefore you're dealing with respect for the complainant, which we have shown the utmost respect to her, and respect for the process, which is about defending Sam's ability to defend himself. And those two things needed to be reconciled.
Does 3 weeks fit the penalties seem fair? Because if you go by public perception, if he's not found to have inappropriate contact, yes, but no sexual assault, no nothing like that, does 3 weeks sit comfortably with Port Adelaide?
Look, to be honest, again, that's subjective. My feeling is that we've accepted it out of respect for the process and for the fact that something happened and Sam accepts that responsibility. It is what it is. To us, the number of weeks wasn't the most important thing. What was important was the distinction between what the evidence that was produced and the narrative that was going on in the public. That was the critical thing.
Concerned about the integrity units handling of it?
No, I thought that they responded. I think that we will have these discussions. It's a new process. We'll have these discussions with the AFL. I think that there needs to be a recognition of the urgency required to get to these issues because it burns brightly in the media spotlight. But having said that, the process played out. I think we can learn from it, and we'll discuss that behind closed doors as well.
So, Keith, just to clarify, has the club seen if there is a report from this investigation, the AFL investigation, have you seen the entire start to finish of what they investigated?
No, I haven't.
Have you asked to see it?
Yes, I have.
And they won't supply it?
It hasn't been supplied at this point, but we have a summary report, but that's all.
Will Sam have to undergo any counselling for any sort of behavioural?
Look, I reckon that there has been a lot of learning already that has occurred, and Sam is a really, really respectful individual. If people wish to take a look at his background and where he's come from, you'll understand what I'm talking about there. He is deeply aware of the repercussions of this and the seriousness of it. We've addressed all of our players in regards to the incident and finding yourself in a situation where these things can happen. So we get that. But in regards to respect for women and appropriate behaviour, this has been a hefty lesson that he will learn from and understand. And as I said, he's coming from a pretty strong base anyway.
But just to clarify, he hasn't been asked to go into any specific programs
No.
for those sort of
No,
things,
I don't think.
whether it's responsible drinking or dealing with women.
Well, they get a lot of that education anyway. I think that the more important issue here is respect for women, and I know the person that he is. I know that we don't need to ram that down his throat. He understands it, and he'll learn from this. I'm sure he won't
Do
do
you think
anything
this
like
will
this again.
dissuade women who are not just football related alleged incidents, but any sporting code, that it will dissuade them from speaking up about unpleasant experiences?
I would doubt that very much, but I have no idea.
Is the woman involved still in contact with the club?
No, we handed her over to the AFL investigations, which is appropriate. We spent time with her in the first couple of days, but we haven't since then.
Keith, there seems to be a couple of inconsistencies with statements by David Koch and yourself. So he's claimed that Sam is a scapegoat and that the AFL Integrity Unit didn't see the video in question, whereas you've said the opposite. So what's the...
Well, I'm saying to you that the investigation unit did see the video, but that we may be talking about different people. There are 4 or 5 people in that unit. I don't know whether they all saw it, but the two investigators saw it.
Did Sam get a chance to defend himself, like he would in a court of law with a
He
allegation?
he was interviewed by the investigators. Yes.
Did he get a chance to follow up with what the AFL's found, or was he just told this is what you get?
At the moment, the report is that the way that it works is that both parties get interviewed, then a finding comes through, and it's up to us as to whether we accept that or not. Now,
So he didn't get a fair hearing.
well, I think in the context of the hearing process, it was fair, and he got his chance to speak. We chose to accept the finding, and I think that is out of respect for the process and the people concerned. And therefore the case is closed. Now, if you want to dispute it, there's another mechanism that you can go to. We chose not to do that.
Well,
I suppose they're asking, did
witnesses.
Sam accept the findings?
Sam has accepted the findings.
Were there other witnesses, were they interviewed, or was it just based on CCTV footage?
There was, I think there was another witness interviewed. Yeah.
One other witness?
Yeah.
Keith, what's the key issue as to why there can't be a description of what actually did happen? Because it will leave that uncertainty as to
Yeah, no,
the vague
I understand.
statement of inappropriate contact.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you can't
Well,
detail
firstly,
what that would be?
we don't have access to the video. We've seen it, but we don't have access to it. So it's not our property. That's a decision for the nightclub. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I think that if you start getting into what is deemed to be inappropriate contact, then you draw into a discussion around, on both sides, and we felt that that was just not a productive space to go into. Sam certainly wasn't feeling that he wanted to do that. What we were keen on was ensuring that people understood that the difference between what happened and sexual assault was vast, and that's an important
So
distinction.
you're saying
Last
there
two
was
questions.
no suggestion or evidence of any sexual contact,
That's what I'm saying.
yet you won't explain what it is.
No.
So how will we, your fans or the public, have any idea? How are we any clearer on what you actually mean?
Yeah, well, as I said to you, what we would have preferred, and to be fair, how the vast majority of the media across Australia has reported it, is that you reserve judgment until all the evidence is provided and all the findings have come
Chris Davies
down.
was appalled. His first contact with the community.
Well, I think you're out of context.
Keith,
So you
when
mentioned-
there is such intense 16 days of notice on Sam
Yes.
Pepper, are you a little bemused by what else is being said around the AFL about an incident at another club, and it seems that the integrity unit's not moving on that one?
I don't have any view on that. To be honest, I've been absolutely sort of concentrated on this one.
Keith, can I ask
All right,
a
let's
question?
wrap it up.
Is that all right?
Let's go.
Just a question about the team, and how do you reckon the last couple of weeks have affected the guys, and where do you reckon you're at?
Look, I think that there's a reality to the fact that we're not playing as well as we'd like to. Clearly, I think that we were always aware that with the transition of players into the program, it might take some time, but I don't think we're that far away either. So I think that we've got a competition that is topsy turvy at the moment, and we're just part of that.
I just saw a tweet that Hamish Hartlett was injured during training. Can you confirm that?
I've heard that. We're not sure how serious. I haven't had the official report, but it's.
Was there an ambulance here today to take Hamish off?
I'm not sure.
You know what is the injury?
No, I don't have any details other than the fact that he's hurt and he's being assessed.
Keith, sorry, one last thing. So you said you've spoken to the players, so you've had the players together as a group in terms
Yes.
of what the Sam Peppers incident is the learning phase for them. You've said, you've got to watch drinking, you've got to watch
Yes.
how you interact.
Yes. Look, any AFL player out at 3 a.m. on Hindley Street is a recipe for disaster. It's something that should be avoided at all costs, and our players are well aware of that. And we were really disappointed that he was there.
Just when you meet with Channel 7 in private, will the chairman have to stand aside for the conflicting interest, or what will happen there?
We'll take it through its correct processes. We have a relationship with Channel 7. They're a partner of our footy club. We're disappointed with how this has gone, but we'll sit down as adults and discuss it.
Has he been feigned, Sam? Do you feel like he's
Well,
been feigned?
I don't want to get into that. I just think that it's been a difficult process.